So I am taking this lecture from my class notes, and these notes I have already kept on my home page. So you can download and study yourself. But to help, because in lecture class, the SQL language may be taught you after few beginning lectures on database introduction. Okay, so I am starting. The purpose of language you already know. When we want to interact, so it is a way of communication. In our normal way, we have several natural languages, and in your computer languages, several programming languages are there, and their objective is to interact. So when we have programming language, the objective is to interact with the computer system. And in our society, we have interaction with each other using our language. Now here, database management system course that you have already idea. I expect what is data, what is database, what is related data, what is database management system, and one popular database management system, that is the MySQL. So this MySQL is a relational database management system. So once we create a database in MySQL or using MySQL, then we have to retrieve data from the database. So the language we use here, that is SQL, that we will study. Okay. Other languages are also there. In database, generally two types of languages are covered. One is called data definition language, that is called DDL. Other language type we call DML, that is data manipulation language. So DDL means data definition, or data description means to define or to describe data. Okay, to define data in database. And manipulation means we want to modify, we want to change, we want some manipulation on data. So DDL, DML, two broad categories are relevant here in database management system or language. And in literature, if you go, there are very large number of languages available. But in practice, the most popular language, that is SQL. And other languages, they are either at the experimental level or laboratory level. And later, whether they are commercialized or not, they could be popular among masses or not. So that can be other issue. But here, SQL is one very popular language for database management system, and it is almost standard, de facto standard among all. And standardization of SQL is also defined. Okay, so you can assume that SQL is a very prominent, very popular, user-friendly database language. So today we shall discuss how we write queries, how we use this language to define data in database, to create database. Then how do we write some queries or statements by which data from database can be retrieved, or how data in database can be modified. Okay. So that is the objective here. So I read it. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is acronym SQL. It is a user-friendly query language. User-friendly means it is very convenient to use. Okay, you might have this word user-friendly, so many things. Okay, even several products in market, if you go to any mall or any shop, many people used to say it is very user friendly. Your objective is that it is easy to use. Okay, not much technical background or knowledge is required here. Somewhat necessary knowledge is separate question, but not so much detailed technical issues will be. So it is a user friendly query language. Query language here we put some query to the database and it retrieve the data from the database. Other user-friendly query languages are Quell, QUEL, and QBE. They are also popular languages, but SQL is much more popular. A number of database query languages have been proposed at laboratory or experimental level. QBE, it is a language based on domain relational calculus, right? QBE is a domain relational calculus based language. Quell, QUEL, this query language is based on triple relational calculus. Relational model you will be taught in your theory class. Relation is one mathematical term that I told you in earlier classes. And for table, we use in mathematics the term relation. And in database, we use tables here. So when we say we are using relations, that means we are using tables. Right? So based on this relation, one model has been developed that is called relational model. And for that model, some mathematics has been developed that is called relational algebra, and other mathematics part is relational calculus. So relational calculus, relational algebra, they are the mathematics has been developed for relational model, right? So using this mathematics and representation relational model, we develop such kind of system. So relational algebra and relational calculus, basically the calculus here, relational calculus, it is of two kinds of relational calculus. One is the domain relational calculus, other is the triple relational calculus. So this QBE language, it is based on this domain relational calculus, and Quell, it is based on the triple relational calculus. SQL, this language, it is based on both relational algebra and relational calculus. That means the operations or structure, operations or construct used by relational algebra and relational calculus, both kind of construct are included in SQL. So it uses construct of both relational algebra and relational calculus. So now we come formally this SQL. SQL was introduced as query language for system R. This capital R, it is a name of the relational database management system. At that time it was developed, and for this database management system, this SQL language was developed. In the its earlier name was SQL. In the beginning, its name was SQL. Now we know it by name of SQL. And when language became standard, so some standardization came into market. So first standard of SQL that came, that was known as SQL 1986. Okay, so it was SQL 86. Then standard further evolved and new features are added, and then we have another standard that is SQL 97, and it will go on evolving. Then later standards came and they were known as SQL 99, 2003, 2007, 2011, and what is the latest you have to see information on the SQL site or web. So basically, these standard they are incremental form, or they have some additional features in the previous standard. Or so what happens here? Higher level standard also supports the lower level of previous standard features, right? So most of the database management system they are used, they have or this very frequently this SQL 92 features they support, and most of the features that require for general purpose database management, this SQL 92 standard is supposed to be sufficient. For other additional features like special database, yeah, any other kind of, so these later standard are relevant. Most of the database management systems support SQL 92 features. Right? Now, in an SQL query, there can be up to 6 clauses, but only first 2 clauses are compulsory. Clause you understand in English language when we have a sentence, right? A part of the sentence, like principal clause and dependent clause, independent clause. So a part of the sentence we call clause. Similarly, phrase that is also a combination of few words called phrase. So similarly, when I say query is one sentence, then we assume that it should supposed to have few clauses. So here in SQL query, maximum there can be 6 clauses, or one can say there can be 6 parts of a query, and each clause has its own specific purpose. Okay, and out of 6 clauses, only 2 clauses are compulsory, and the rest 4 clauses are optional. So what are those clauses? They are written here, and I will first read: select clause, from clause, where clause, group by clause, having clause, order by clause. Okay. They are the names of 6 clauses, and there is a specific syntax of writing uh, writing these clauses. So there are syntactic rules of writing query. Okay. So here we write select, and here it is written list of the attributes. When we write a query, we want to retrieve data. So in our result, what will be the column names? What will be the attributes? So those attributes are listed here in select clause. Now, from clause, in which tables our data belongs. That means which relations are relevant where our data is appearing or data is lying. So we write here names of all those relations or tables separated by comma here and here also. We will see in the writing of queries. Then here condition, in where clause we write the condition that should be satisfied on this relation to get the resultant to get result. Then 3 more clauses are here. One is the group by. Here we write the group attributes, and then having, it is also a clause that is group condition is written here. Then order by. Or here we write attribute list. So basically order by is simply ascending or descending order, right? In English language, A to Z or Z to A line. So ascending or descending values or order. So if we want that kind of order in result, we use it. Now here I will make larger picture of it, then I will read it. Here you see in select clause, we have list of attributes, but here functions on attribute are also allowed. We can use some algebraic functions also. So that is also permitted by the language. And here you see in grouping clause, basically group refers when we want to divide a table into several parts. Okay. So each subtable we call as one group. So group terminology is referring here subtable. So subtables will be created on the basis of the values of the grouping attribute. So here you see here grouping condition is written here, and here it is the grouping attributes. Okay, so subtables will be created on the basis of the values of grouping attributes. Some grouping attribute we might have, and based on the values the subtables are created. And here it is written group condition. So what is group condition here? After formation of groups, once the groups have been formed, after formation of groups, group condition is applied on attributes of the first group. Similarly, on second group, all the tuples of second group, and so on. So what happens here? Based on grouping attribute, the subtables have been formed, and when subtables have been formed, then this group condition is applied on each group. When we say applied on each group, means on all the triples of the group. I read it again. After formation of the groups, group condition is applied on all tuples of first group. Similarly, for all tuples of the second group, and so on. It will be easy to understand when we take example. Okay. So this was the query language clauses, and we will see. So basically, if you have studied the relational algebra, so in relational algebra we have some different kind of notation. Okay, we have this kind of notation select, and this is no, this is select from where, and in this relational algebra, this notation is used for project, and this notation is used for select. Okay, so what we have, select from relations where predicate p condition is p, predicate is true, and after this we select or we project those columns or attribute from this result mentioned here A1, A2, AN. So what will happen? First of all, the Cartesian product of all the tables or relation will be computed, and this condition will be tested on the entire Cartesian product result. And based on this condition, the relevant tuples will be selected. Now, relevant tuples will constitute result, or you can say intermediate result here. And from that result, we only take these columns or these attributes and display as a result. Now, this relational algebra expression, it is equivalent in SQL like this. So select those attributes. Here you see select is written in English language from, this is the name of the relation, and we are predicate P. Okay. So both have equivalent effect, but the way of writing this is more user friendly than this one. This is algebraic notation, and this might be covered in your theory classes in relational algebra. Okay, so this is the way. Now, one thing you keep remember here, predicates. One predicate here is condition, predicate means condition. It has to be applied at what time. And another condition, group condition, it has to be applied at what time. Okay. So this timing you keep remember, and it is also written here. Predicates in having clause are used after the formation of subtable groups. In having clause, we apply when groups or subtables have been formed. Predicates in where clause are used before formation of subtable. Now, domain types in SQL, as in programming language, we have different types of data types. Integer type, okay, character type, and real number type. Similarly, here we have different types of data. We call domain of data. So, as in programming language, similar type definitions we also have here. This is character type data, character of size n. This is variable character type, then integer type, then small integer, then numeric type, okay, and real, then float, and more domain. So several such domains you can. This is simply there is nothing to teach you if you ask me, because in programming you also go through the similar kind of definitions. But what is the correct meaning of all these type definitions? You have to consult your textbook for further detail. I have prepared all these notes from course book. Okay, exact which edition that I don't remember, fifth or sixth edition maybe. Then create table. How create table is created. So what is the syntax, syntactic rule, and how we use it. So create table, we write like this. Create table, and here R is the table name. Then A1 attribute or domain, this type, this is the type or domain of the attribute D1. Similarly, second attribute definition and so on. Okay, separated by comma. Then integrity constraint, if we have, that we use here. Okay. Now it will be easy to understand when we use an example. So it is create table structure feature, and the table attributes are here. You see ID, structure identity, then name, then department name, and salary. So ID is character type 5 digit, and name variable type character, variable character type 20. It should not be null. This is the constraint. This is a condition on this attribute. Similarly, department name, it is a variable character 20, and salary numeric 8 separated by 2. That means after decimal point where how many digit can appear. Okay, and this is right parenthesis. So here you see when we define table by using this create, So logically, at your understanding level, this kind of table is created: ID, name, department name, and salary. And when we insert a tuple, so to insert a tuple, we use insert into instructor, then values, and in bracket all the values we write in the same order, in the order we have defined the attribute. So this value ID number, name is Smith, then biology department name, this is the salary. So you see here when we write statement, so for this create table A1 B1, for this one, this table is represented here logically, and for this create table instructor, this table has been shown here. Okay. So basically, when we write a statement, this kind of structure is created. So okay. Now we come intuitive constraint. What are those constraint means condition. So what kind of constraint we can impose on table and attribute. So here entity constraints can be not null, primary key, foreign key, all these are the constraints. So how they are also defined in table. Okay. So first I show create table instructor, ID character type 5, name character variable character 20, not null. Okay. Then department name and salary. And here primary key ID. I have defined this ID attribute as primary key. Okay. And one more attribute I am defining as foreign key here. So department name is one attribute here. So I am defining it as foreign key. So foreign key, this is the department name attribute. And here we are using references. It is referring to, so this department name attribute is referring to this table department. This is the table name. Okay. So here, what will happen in this department named table? There will be one attribute. That attribute might be there as primary key, and the name of attribute may be department name. Okay. So then one attribute is we are using in a table, but at the same time that attribute is a primary key of some other table. Then we say such attribute here as foreign key. Okay, just like you are staying in India, but when you go to any other country like USA, UK, there your identity became foreigner. Similarly, a person from America, USA, in his country he is native citizen, but once he come here, then his identity becomes foreigner. So in a table, one attribute we define as primary key, but if we are using the same attribute in some other table, okay, now in that table it is ordinary attribute, but its identity will be like foreign key, foreigner, okay, because it is key, so we are using here the term foreign key. So this is easy and way of understanding. Other examples of creating table here: create table student, here variable character primary key. Now you can also directly write here primary key. The constraint on attribute, and instead of writing separately here after this attribute, So primary key is defined here. Similarly, variable name that is not null is mentioned here. Department, foreign, this is total credit, and this is foreign key definition. Again, foreign key, and this is the key, foreign key. This is key, department name, foreign key. This is department name. References to department. So department is the table name. Okay. So similarly, we also have another takes. It is another table here, identity ID. Okay, and this is variable character. This is primary key here, and other attributes are also mentioned here. And again here you see foreign key. This is so two foreign keys are here. One this ID. Okay, identity. So here references to student. Okay, and here foreign key, course ID, section ID, semester, and year. These four attribute collectively referring or referencing to section table. So here this is table name section, and here it is also. So when we have references, then we write here table name. So this is another table we have created, and all these are examples in experiment number 3, 4, 5. All these are in experiment number 5, and this is example from fourth book. You can see fourth book, university example. Now, if we want to add or remove a column in a table, suppose there are 3 or 4 columns in a table, we want to add a column in table. So what is the way? So we use alter command or alter statement. Alter table R, add AD. R is the relation name or table name. So alter table R, add AD. So we have added one more column, and column name is A, and its domain is D. This R is the table name, and column to be added with attribute name A and domain D. Right? And at the beginning, all values of this added new column will be null. So null values will be assigned to new column. And if we want to remove a column, then we use alter table R drop A. That means instead of add, we are using here drop. Okay, so we drop A, then name A is the name of the column that is to be removed with attribute name A. So you can see both adding and removing is appearing here. Case insensitiveness. In English language, we have small letter, capital letter. So here, this SQL, it doesn't make any distinction, capital or small letters. So when we write in SQL, name, so if you use this NAME or capital, all have the same meaning. Now two keywords, distinct and all, they are used in SQL. So what happens here, you might be knowing the definition of set. Set is defined as a collection of well-defined things. In a set, all the objects should be unique. Repetition we do not allow. Okay. But in set theory, if you go and in your one course that is the discrete mathematics, there is one more definition that is called multi-set. So in multi-set, what happens? The object may be repeated, or one object can have its repeated existence. So here, uh, multi-set definition is also valid here. So what happens here in result, we want that all the values should be distinct. There should be no repetition. That is also possible. And when we say no, repetition is allowed. That is also possible. So for all this exercise, SQL supports two keywords. One is distinct and all. So SQL allows duplicates in relation as well as in query results. Okay. So we have distinct keyword. It is used to eliminate duplicates, and all this keyword is used to include or to retain the duplicates. Okay. So distinct and all. When we do not define anything, then default is supposed to be all. So one example is written here: select distinct department name from structure. So from structure table, we have list of department name. Okay, so there will be unique department values here. Suppose computer department is 1 and 3, then other entries with computer department will not be there. So when we write select all department name, that means the name of department can have multiple appearance, or it can present more than one time. Now this become asterisk or this star symbol. This star symbol is used in SQL to denote all attributes. In a table, suppose 5 attributes are there, then one solution we write to select all name of the attribute. Now, instead, if you want to have all the attributes, so instead of writing all individual attributes, you simply write star, this asterisk symbol. So, one example here is shown. Select this asterisk from this structure. So, from this structure table, all the columns will be selected. All the attributes will be in the result. Select clause allows arithmetic expression involving the operations addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division on constants and attributes. So this facility is permitted in SQL. You can directly perform the arithmetic operation on an attribute in select clause. So for example, if I write query select ID, name, and salary divided by 12 from table structure. So what will happen here? Suppose in structure table, salary attribute is there, and it's the value salary value is annual. Okay, I want monthly salary. So simply I will write here attribute salary divided by 12. Then I will have in my result ID, instructor identity, then name, and monthly salary will be result. Okay. So clause form in SQL is equivalent to, now in clause form in SQL is equivalent to Cartesian product in relational algebra, and produces Cartesian product of all the tables mentioned in from clause. That I already told you. So if you perform, if you write query this, if you write this query select star from. So what will be the result of this query? This query will give you result as Cartesian product of instructor and teachers. One experiment number 4 is like this. Okay, so experiment number 4 do you can directly carry out. Other example I show. So find instructors in computer science department with salary more than 8,000. So it is written like this. Select name. We want instructor name in the result, and there is only one relevant table, instructor, and we write the condition department name should be computer science and salary should be 8,000. You can see this query is also part of the exercise. Similarly, other queries find names of all instructor along with course ID of courses they have taught. Select name, course ID, instructor, teaches. Okay, so this is the same way. So on one side you should have the schema, the relational schema, ER, ER schema, and you have to order which tables are relevant, which attribute is required in the result, okay, and how the conditions constraint can be satisfied. And course ID, semester, year, and title of each course offered by computer science department. So it is written here, select. Now you see here, select dot course ID. This dot operator, it is just like if you have studied object-oriented programming. Okay. So section is the table name and course ID is the attribute of this table. So if suppose there are two tables and in both tables course ID is there. Okay, section is one course ID, attribute is there, and in teaches there also course ID. And if I write here, then system should be aware, should be knowing that which course ID you want to get in the result. So here when I write section dot course ID, that means it will refer to course ID attribute of the section table. So this kind of operator notations are also used. So section dot course ID, then semester, year, title, section, course, and year. Section dot course ID equal to course dot course ID. That means course is another table, and the department name is computer. Okay. And mutual join operation, this might be covered in your classes, like partial product, which is also kind of join. So if you want natural join operation, there is also one exercise, experiment number 4, to compute natural join. So that you can perform select all, then from instructor natural join teachers. So natural join may be used carefully. Some precaution is required in using natural join. Okay, unrelated attributes with same name should not be equated. Rename operation, you can rename. That means SQL allows renaming a relation or attributes using the clause that is as. As is the, it is known as here clause or keyword, anything you can say. So using this as, it is possible to assign a new name. So suppose this is old name you write and then as, and this is new name. Okay. So this is the way of using this as clause or as keyword. So this is another example. Select ID, name, salary divided by 12. Salary value, just in previous example, we divided by 12 and we write as monthly salary. That means after the execution of this query, in result we have one column ID, other column name, and third column will be monthly salary name, monthly salary, and it has the value divided by 12 monthly salary value. So this is a way by which we can rename and we can apply the arithmetic operator around it. So find the name of all instructors who have a higher salary than some instructor in computer science. This is a very good query, and I think I should stop here, and I will start from here in next class.